The Breakaway. To those watching on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, welcome along our first day in the Pyrenees. And it was Yates who was king of the mountains on the day. Not Adam, but his twin brother Simon we're all talking about on stage 12. The Mitchelton Scott rider descending to the finish for his first Tour de France win, with Julian Alaphilippe spending an 8th day in the yellow jersey. Well, Dan Lloyd and Brian Smith are alongside me right now for the breakaway. Brian, Simon has already won the Vuelta a España overall. He's won a stage at the Vuelta and at the Giro. This is his first Tour de France win. Where will this rank, do you think, in terms of his palmares?
I would think it would rank number one. As we grow up in Britain, we always think about the Tour de France. OK, there's 3 Grand Tours, and you ask an Italian, he would say the Giro. You ask someone from Spain and they'll say that the Vuelta, but I think it'll be ranked as his best win in his career, and he really has to be happy with that, because it wasn't a given. In the run-in, he had Mühlberger, for me possibly arguably the better sprinter at the end. Bilbao won 2 stages, starting to get better and better in this tour. It was close in the end. It was just the way he rode the final. He got into the last corner first, and he wanted to do that. He had a slightly smaller gear. He kicked out the corner, held Mühlberger off, gave him no room to come through on the right-hand side, and delivered his first Tour win.
Dan, we're in danger of getting into pub chat territory, but do you agree with Brian that today's victory would rank above an overall win at the Vuelta?
No. I'll disagree with you again.
That's why I asked.
No.
No, in terms of all of his wins so far.
All of his wins, yeah, definitely the Vuelta,
okay.
But I was thinking stage wins, whether a stage win in the Giro, a stage win in the Vuelta, I would rank the stage win in the Tour.
So we do all agree.
That would have been obvious. That would have been a silly
Yes.
question.
You saying all is asking silly questions?
No, she asked the proper question. You just misunderstood it. No, I think
We'll get there eventually.
It will rank highly for him, for sure.
Yeah.
As Brian said, the Tour is so important for British riders, because that was the race that you saw the most when you were growing up. But it's remarkable how complacent you can be. I mean, oh yeah, Simon Yates won a stage of the Tour. You know, only 10 years ago, less than that, it was just such a huge thing for a British rider to have success like that at the Tour de France, or any Grand Tour, or even the 3 days of De Panne. You'd be celebrating if somebody won a stage of something like that. And now we've got all these talents coming through and people winning Grand Tours overall and lots of stages, and you quickly become quite complacent about how hard it is to do. It's really, really hard.
No disrespect, of course, to the 3 days de Panne, but there is a reason for that complacency. And if we look at the top 10 on GC at the end of stage 12, there are at least 2 British reasons in there to explain it, because Geraint Thomas still is the closest to Julian Alaphilippe, who remains in yellow. He's at 1:12, with Egan Bernal at 1:16. To continue with a British slant, Adam Yates, Simon Yates' brother, of course, is in 7th at 1:47. We'll keep with the home nations. Dan Martin is in 9th, and he remains 2:09 back, with Thibaut Pinot making up the rest of that French sandwich at 2 minutes and 33. We are awaiting a rather special guest in the wings. He's just getting mic'd up at the moment, Alberto Contador. Before we get to that, though, Brian, what a race for Mitchelton Scott. They've had 2 stage wins. They've got Adam Yates right up there in GC. That's a quite remarkable way to be racing this when they do have that general classification ambition.
Yeah, very much so. When you consider they had a bit of a drought for a few years, they came into this, and to win on Bastille Day with Darlimpe is huge. And we go back to the start, it's all about momentum. That was a big, big win for them. And it just, that momentum carries on to the rest of the riders. And just watching the way that Simon Yates came into that finish, you could see the self-confidence. I don't know if I would be that confident going into a 3-up sprint like that, but in the past, he's been world champion in the track. That experience, that self-confidence delivered him the win. But it's just that momentum of Mitchelton Scott, and you can only think what that's going to do to Adam now. Now that Simon's won a Tour stage, Adam is definitely want to do it, because in history, Dan, they compete. It was only at the start of the year, was it last year, with Tirreno and Paris-Nice? One day, one won a stage in another race, and the next day the other one won a race. They compete with each other.
Yeah, what a double-pronged approach. Well, I'm delighted to say that we can welcome Alberto Contador onto set. If you could come around the front here, please, Alberto. Thank you for joining us. Looking remarkably fresh after a day on the motorbike. That's impressive.
Yeah, I think that the secret is you take this shirt very small. Then, cannot, yeah, no, it was a long day, but also was a nice day for look from the TV, from the motorbike. No, at the final, you can analyze the Yeah, the different situation. I think is the best place for look the race.
Are you enjoying that position on the motorbike? Because it is something very different. It gives us a different view. Is it fun?
Yeah. You enjoy incredible, and also because at the final you do a lot of jokes with the riders, no? And okay, we are in the more important race of the war, and they have attention. Okay, always need to have attention to everything, but also you have time for do some jokes.
I've never seen you so disappointed as when Tom Southern from EF Education First said it would be a calm day for the general classification riders. Calm? Why calm behind?
Yes, yeah. I don't know why anybody move, no?
No movement on GC, no. Were you surprised?
A little bit, yes. Of course, Thomas, Bernal, Quintana don't need move, but some riders that lost time with the crosswind Monday, and also Landa, for example, Bardet with 3 guys at the front can move. It's true that tomorrow we have a time trial. After tomorrow we have the Tourmalet, and also it's 30 kilometers descent. But Bardet, for example, have 3 teammates at the break.
Given how Landa time trials, do you think he should have made an attack today then?
Yeah, for example, Landa, for tomorrow is a very difficult day for him. Normally he will lose with Thomas more or less 2 minutes. Then, he put from Thomas around 5 minutes. For recover this is not easy, no? But okay, it's true that now I speak from the motorbike, not from the bike, and then only I can look my vision.
Do you think Quintana is the leader for Movistar, or are they still looking at Landa and Quintana? Because Valverde was helping out the team in the Planche de Belfi. Do you think it is both, or it's more slant towards Quintana? And why do you think Landa never attacked today?
I think that the option number 1 for Movistar is Quintana, but they want. I think they don't put a break to Landa. Landa, I think, will be free. So it's important to know that more probably is that Quintana and Landa will be in another team different the next year. Yeah. And for Movistar also is very important the spectacle at Spain. With Landa can have this possibility, and for help to Quintana I also have Valverde and have Soler and other teammates, no? And Landa don't attack, in my opinion, because analyze the situation, don't move any rider from the GC and say, okay, stay calm, and will be different in the
Holding
weekend.
himself back,
Yeah,
maybe.
we've done 12 stages. It's very difficult to see. We've had the Planche de Belfi, and we've had this first mountain stage where no GC battle has commenced. Where do you see the challenge to Ineos is going to come from?
The best, the challenge, okay, the first of all will be tomorrow, because tomorrow you need to give the 100%, and after the day you analyze the situation. But for sure, the Tourmalet with Soler before, okay, it's a short stage, but Tourmalet is Tourmalet. Will be a real test for everybody, also for Alaphilippe.
What about riders-wise? The challenge to Ineos, where will it come from? Will it come from Adam Yates? Will it come from Pinot? Where do you think the biggest challenge to Geraint Thomas and Egan Bernal is?
I think Pinot. Pinot. I think Adam Yates also. Fulsan, I think, is a very strong rider, and this year he go very well. Also Nairo. It's true that in the last year don't go very, very strong, but also Nairo have possibilities. But the good thing, I think, is that Tour de France very, very open, and can happen many things.
Alberto, we're going to get your thoughts on this man in just a moment, because the one rider we're all talking about as the one to catch is Geraint Thomas. He's been chatting to Matt Stevens.
Another day done and dusted. Big day tomorrow, but how are the legs today?
Yeah, okay. It's always a bit strange when you don't really go. You know, when you kind of ride at that sort of like pace is, you know, fairly hard, but it's kind of just sort of getting through. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, a big day. And I've seen the course a few times, so I'll ride it again in the morning.
You sound like a bit of a coiled spring, Geraint.
Yeah, it's been quite hard, actually, just waiting, but tomorrow I get to go all in. So, yeah, we'll see. But big day.
Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, thanks.
Alberto, you couldn't hear what Geraint Thomas was saying there, but he was saying he's waiting. He's looking ahead to the time trial. That, for him, is the big day. Do you think he's got his focus right? I'm sure he does.
Well, it's sure that I think that tomorrow will be the reference for everybody. I think that everybody have in the head that the milestone tomorrow at the time trial will be Thomas from the GC riders. Well, no, also maybe from the guys that is not from the GC, because Dennis have a strenuous.
He's gone.
Yeah, and I think he will be the reference. He was very, very strong the other day in La Planche, and also the other day with the mechanical problems, also take the group very easy. For the moment, Thomas is impressive.
What do you make of Egan Bernal as well? Because everybody's talking about him as a future winner, someone who will win the Tour de France, and it's a question of when rather than if. Do you see as much potential in him as everybody else does?
Yes. I think that Egan Bernal, he's doing something for 22 years old, incredible. It's true that now when the riders pass to professional, they have a good control of the training, the power meters, and know the power, the average power. And then in the past, when you go to professional, you say, okay, 2-3 years easy in the category, and after can start to do something. And now from the first year, okay, you can go to the race for the victory. And Egan, when the team is working for him, always win, and it's a guarantee. It's true that Thomas won the last year. In this Tour de France, he is very strong. Tomorrow, I think, is a better day for Thomas, but the Tour is long, and I think it's very good for Ineos have two options.
You mentioned the Tour is long, and Geraint Thomas said he's waiting. It's all about waiting. You were an attacking rider. All the time you wanted to attack. How hard is it to hold yourself back during a 3-week tour?
I think that Thomas, okay, for the moment prefer wait. Tomorrow he needs the maximum power that he can in the 27 kilometers. And at the Tourmalet, if he has legs, he can try. He feel very strong, and one thing I have clear, when you have a good legs, you need try to do a different, because maybe the next day you having a bad day, everybody have a bad day, and then it's better when you have the opportunity do a different.
Alberto, we're all looking forward to the Col du Tourmalet. It's a climb you know very well. Looking back to 2010, I can still remember how cold it was on the top of that climb, the icy rain. That moment that you shared with Andy Schleck about 4 kilometres from the top, when you both looked into each other's eyes and we all wondered what it meant. What are your memories of the Tourmalet, and how much are you looking forward to going back there?
Yeah, for me, the Tourmalet was a very important climb, you know, because I think it was the more big opportunity for Andy Schleck to recover time to me. Mm-hmm. He attacked to me. I remember the start the climb very, very fast with Fabian Cancellara pulling. But after 2 very, very hard attacks from Andy Schleck, I can follow. Say, okay, I have under control. He continued during the climb, attacked to me 2-3 times more, and in one time I say, okay, I attack to you, or you stop, or I attack to you. Then at the final, okay, for me was well stay with him under control, and yeah, at the final he won the stage. But yeah, it was a good final. But when you are there, you are not looking if it's Tourmalet, Mythic. No, you say, okay, I look in the GC for me, the stage is not very important.
I was
After with the
also-
time, maybe it's different.
I was also racing the same stage. I've got very different memories of the Tourmalet that day, but it's good to find out what happened on the stage.
That's what happened up front.
Yeah.
We do have a tweet from Michael Alberto. He wants to know how much riding you do now that you're retired.
Now?
How much do you ride your bike?
I don't so much. If I can for the time, it's three times per week, and 2.5, 3 hours. But one thing is true is that I go full gas.
Dan,
What,
maybe
200 kilometres every 3 days a week? That's 600 kilometres a week.
No. It's more or less around 35 to 40, 42 average. It's around 100 kilometers for day, three days per week.
what do you think, Dan? Could you take him up the Tourmalet now then?
I can take him up in a car, yeah, if you'd like me to, if you want to show him the top of it. But no, I won't be able to keep up with Contador even now, unfortunately.
No rematch then. Alberto, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining
It was
us
a pleasure.
on the breakaway. We have plenty to look forward to in the GC battle. We're headed into proper GC territory tomorrow. It is the individual time trial. 27.2 kilometres of pure suffering on stage 13. The road rises after 5 kilometres to reach Mazarlaison, heads up again just before the halfway point, and once again on the Côte d'Esquilloc before a rolling finish through the vineyards of Jurançon to Pau. Whoever raises a glass tomorrow will have laid down a serious marker in the overall race. Well, before that, you can catch highlights of our first Pyrenean stage at 8 tonight on Eurosport 1. We have a double billing in store tomorrow with La Course, the women's race, getting us underway at 8:45 on Eurosport 1. We have all the very best injury-free riders in the world taking to the start line for that. It should be a cracker. And then we'll have Tour de France racing once again at 12:30, still on Eurosport 1. And if you haven't managed to listen yet to the Bradley Wiggins show, you are missing out this week, because Sir Bradley has been catching up with one of his heroes and good friends, Sean Yates. So have a listen to that if you get the chance. Well, it was a day at the Tour for Simon Yates, taking the win in our first Pyrenean stage of this year's Tour. Up next, it's the race of truth, man and machine, in a race against the clock. It's the purest of disciplines with nowhere to hide. What truths will the time trial start to reveal? Join us for that and La Course tomorrow.
Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, two sunny cities.